Most weight loss plans are one size fits all, not taking into account each person's individual needs. Noom is here to change that. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain. But it also takes into account your unique biological factors, which also affect weight loss success. The program helps you understand the science behind your eating choices and why you have cravings. Everyone's journey is different, so your daily lessons are personalized to you and your goals. One of the great things about Noom is that it's nourishing instead of restrictive. They focus on progress instead of perfection. You don't have to give up carbs, or anything for that matter. Have cravings? Food FOMO? Noom can help you lose weight while still enjoying your favorite foods. To date, Noom has helped more than 5.2 million people lose weight. Stay focused on what's important to you. With Noom's psychology and biology-based approach, sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, you guys, joining us now to talk about all of this stuff and so much more is Michael Goodwin, the great Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the New York Post. Michael, your thoughts as we are literally hours away from Election Day.
Good evening, Rita. I'm approaching relief. I'm just happy it's soon going to be over. At least I hope so. I hope there's a clear winner. That would be, I think, better for the country. And a winner above suspicion, I think that would be very important. Look, anyone's guess is as good as anyone else's. The polls give you no reason to discount any possibility. I think that we're a divided country, and this election looks to be divided. I think there is one possibility that Trump could pull out a big win by a big margin, and that would be just the late breakers. If they all decide within the swing states that they're going to go for Trump, and that maybe the turnout is larger than we expect, then you could see a real electoral college landslide. But I think that's not likely. I think it's just going to be very, very much a nail biter for probably more than a day.
Yeah, I think the attorneys are going to be very busy. I'm looking at Judge Weinberg and Tony. I think it's going to be a nail biter. You also talk about, Michael, in your column that she's wrong on so many of these issues. Explain, because I was looking over the weekend. You know me, I'm such a political junkie. I'm sitting there looking at so many of the things she said as recently as, a few months ago before she was the candidate. And boy, is it a different person than she's portraying to America today.
Yeah, there are lots of mysteries about the way she has behaved as a candidate. I mean, not answering questions, not really laying out an agenda, saying the most vague things, maybe 4 or 5 things. I'm going to do something to help homeowners or first-time home buyers, things like that. $50,000 for new businesses, a grant, a forgivable loan, or something like that. I mean, they're just sort of piecemeal things that you can look at yourself and say, well, boy, I could use $25,000 or I could use $50,000. Well, pretty much everybody could, but that's not an agenda. That's not a set of policies. For example, she's running these ads in Michigan calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, and in Pennsylvania running ads how much she supports Israel. So that's, I think, a bizarre way to conduct a campaign. What if you should win that way? What guarantee do you have that the public is going to support what you're ultimately going to do? You don't have a mandate. You haven't run on an agenda that you can then translate into legislation, executive orders, foreign policies. So that, to me, is a very strange thing. And in my mind, given what we know about her, right, her radical past, and that she has been vice president for these 4 years, she says nothing comes to mind that she would do differently from Joe Biden. It sort of boggles the mind what she's running on, what she would do as president, and therefore I can't see. For me, I could never vote for a candidate who promises a blank slate.
Michael, it's Tony Carbonetti. I think you're 100% right. I think what she has proven, and actually the ticket has proven, is that they're weak leaders. I tell everyone, should a 10-year-old be able to buy a handgun? No. Should a 10-year-old be able to buy alcohol? No. Should a 10-year-old be able to change their sex without telling their parents? And she'll say yes. And I say, you know what? I don't think she's a crazy lefty. I think she's a weak leader. She can't say no to the lobbyist. She can't say no to that little group that thinks this is normal, okay? Because you know what? The other two groups don't have lobbyists. It's the inability to say no that makes her a weak leader. And I think that's why she should not be elected.
Well, look, she's definitely weak. I think the Israel thing is a good example of that.
Can't say no.
Just won't take a position that is realistic. In other words, pick a side. Pick something you're really for, or something you're really against. Don't just give us this mealy mouth. You're for peace. Of course,
whoever's sitting in her office will get the yes, and so that's the problem.
Yeah, and so when you will do that with the difficult issues, then as you say, you're not a leader. And so you will not be able to make the big decisions that only a president can make. And look, I think we see a lot of that with Joe Biden. So in many ways, she's promising more of the same. I'm given the unpopularity of this administration, it is somewhat shocking that she is within even a chance of victory.
Well, I mean, I don't think she has the leadership skills. I mean, she has done nothing but on the screen except laugh and make jokes. And, she's never sat down with serious reporters to talk about the economy, to talk about the borders. Everything is a laugh.
Yeah, look, and there's been plenty of time. I mean, the way we're describing her might have made sense for a month or two, but she basically got the nomination at the end of July. I mean, she clearly was going to be the nominee. By the June 27th debate, Biden was gone by July 25th or something like that. He was off the ticket, said he was off the ticket. So she had plenty of time to draft a campaign. Even if you say, oh, you're just going to float to the convention, then the convention is an opportunity to lay out an agenda. Or ever since, you could have summoned an audience, you could have done interviews, you could have done all kinds of things that candidates can do to get attention, to lay out an agenda. But she never did any of that. She never gave serious interviews, never gave serious speeches. I mean, the one last week or 10 days ago or so at the Ellipse was a joke. I mean, it was more like the convention.
Is that the one she was panicking because the screen went down? No,
that was a different. That was the one where Joe Biden was in the background in the White House saying over here.
Yeah.
The moving forward, that's pretty funny, actually. She's saying this to the teleprompter operator, who apparently doesn't hear her, and no one else knows what she's talking about. But look, it does boggle the mind, and frankly, it's quite frightening that the race is this close. Now, I understand a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but I would think they would care enough about their own future and the future of the country that they would pick somebody who tells you what he's going to do. You know he can do it because he's done it before. It's not that hard. So I am quite worried that she could sneak in here just by virtue of it being so close, and we don't know who's going to actually vote in the end.
Yeah, you know what? Also, you're reminding me of Nikki Haley had an op-ed that came out over the weekend. And I thought this was really powerful. And she said, and look, she's had her differences with Trump. She said Trump isn't perfect, but he's the better choice. And if you read it, she's like, by far, he is the better choice for America. Judge Weinberg.
Michael, what troubles me is Biden ran as a moderate, and yet he governed on the far radical left, the woke left. She's going to do the same thing because, after all, she's never repudiated being the San Francisco liberal.
Right. She's never had to. Right. She's just been able to get away with not telling who she is. And again, I find it bizarre. If I were running for office, don't worry, not going to happen. But if I were, I would want to be as clear as possible so that I knew that if I won, I would have a mandate. I mean, you don't run. It can't be fun running. It's got to be that you care about governing, that you care about what you're going to do, where you want to lead the country. And it just strikes me as obvious that you would want to make that clear to the public so that you could ride that wave into elective office and you could assemble a cabinet, lay out policies. You would know that the public had voted for you, and that would be your hammer. That would be your guide, and it would be your hammer to get things done.
Michael Goodwin, she has no clue.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
Scary.
That is what's scary. Michael, thank you so much. It's so great to have you here, Michael. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.